evening, I'm Fayaz Qureshi with the Legends Edition on KBC Channel 1. Tonight on the Living Legends, we speak to a very distinguished personality, the face behind the Nyumba Kumi initiative, former Provincial Commissioner Joseph Kaguthi. And our sign language interpreter for tonight's edition is Byron Abuli. First, a quick look at the highlights for tonight's bulletin. Malaba traffic crisis, government pledges to get the trucks moving again by Wednesday next week.
Tunataka kuhesabu kama ni tabas kwa sababu kutoka pande ile kwa mchana ukiwa unaona gari ingine inakuja si kawaida.
The bane of road carnage. 5 people perish in a grisly accident along the Athi River Namanga Highway.
Attention is basically to unveil the presidential campaign of his earthquakeness, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi.
And the wait is over. All is set for Musalia's Super Sunday as the race for State House gathers momentum. Welcome back. The government has suspended scanning and weighbridges inspection and increased labour force along the northern corridor to clear the backlog of trucks that stretches from Malaba border to Kandui. Transport and Infrastructure Cabinet Secretary James Macharia, who was on the ground to assess the situation, said the backlog will be cleared by Wednesday next week.
After weeks of standoff between border officials from Uganda and truck drivers over COVID-19 certificate requirement, and that has caused a traffic snarl-up stretching several kilometers inward. Transport ministers from both Uganda and Kenya were on the ground to find a quick remedy to a situation that was slowly turning to a human crisis.
We want this backlog to be out of the way maximally by Wednesday. Maximally by Wednesday, we should have cleared the backlog. So I'll put in place some measures which are going to be implemented, some immediately and some will be implemented as we go along.
The goods being held by those almost 4,000 trucks, it is adversely impacting the trade in Uganda. And so it was important for us to come here to make sure that we make decisions which are time-bound.
They both toured Busia and Malaba borders, where it all began. Transport and Infrastructure Cabinet Secretary James Macharia promising to ensure the mess is cleared in few days' time.
By Wednesday next week, we want all these issues to be cleared and the backlog to be cleared permanently. That's why we are taking hardcore decisions, like, for example, suspending the way bridges.
We have also agreed that the verification which was being done in the yard here will no longer be done in this yard, will be done far forward.
Among the measures that will be applied to clear the truck's backlog are suspending scanning and weigh bridges as well as increasing labor force at the border points.
Tuweze kuwa na dual carriageway kutoka hapa Malaba mpaka Koteko. Hiyo ndio nimemwomba. Ya pili, nimemwomba tuwe na sideways.
Uganda Minister of Works and Transport General Katumba Wamala assuring the drivers that there will be no testing at the Uganda side.
One of them is that now from the Kenya side, the scanning will not be done because there has been a problem when you scan then you turn around. And Uganda has the drive-through scanner, so the scanning will be done on Ugandan side and the vehicles will proceed.
The truck snarl-up stretches from Malaba border to Kandui in Bungoma County. Timothy Kipnusu for Legends Edition.
5 people have died in a road accident along the Athi River Namanga Road near Nkato Take town. 2 vehicles collided head-on, killing 4 of the victims on the spot, while another person died while being rushed to the hospital. Confirming the incident, Namanga Police Base Commander Jackson Mathenge said the accident may have been caused by human error.
These are the mangled wreck of the 2 vehicles which were involved in an accident near Namanga town on Saturday afternoon. 5 people lost their lives in the carnage. The vehicles collided head-on, killing some occupants on the spot. Namanga Police Base Commander Jackson Madenge says the accident could have been avoided.
Kwa sababu ukiangalia hii gari ilikuwa inatoka Nairobi. Ilikuwa inatoka Nairobi ikienda Gatatoeki. Na ile ingine ilikuwa inatoka Gatatoeki ikienda Bisili. So hii mtu ndio atoke ile pande ile. Either tunataka kuhesabu kama ni tabas kwa sababu kutoka pande ile kwa mchana ukiwa unaona gari ingine inakuja si kawaida. Tukiangalia na skid map.
The 5 victims are part of a long list of Kenyans who have died on the road this month.
People don't understand the word don't drink and drive. You see, so these people thinking that I am good at driving even when I'm drunk, you are the one who's on the wrong side, because you are endangering other people's lives.
Police are urging motorists to practice caution and avert what may end up as one of the darkest months on Kenyan roads.
So bado tunafuata tujue chanzo cha accident, lakini it is human error. Hii ni makosa ya dereva na dereva.
The National Transport and Safety Authority has said it is working on a transport integrated management system that will ground all unroadworthy vehicles and help bring some much needed sanity on Kenyan roads. Irene Mchuma Odim, The Legends Edition.
Amani National Congress Party says the survival of the One Kenya Alliance is highly dependent on whether Musalia Mudavadi will be named the coalition's flag bearer. Speaking on Saturday ahead of the party's National Delegates Conference, Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala said Musalia is the first among equals and is best suited to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Musalia Mudavadi is all set to officially launch his presidential bid and raise his stakes in the One Kenya Alliance. Musalia's allies in ANC believe he has what it takes to be Kenya's commander-in-chief.
And what we are saying is, even the OCA partnership that we are in at the moment, we've made it very clear. OCA will only make sense if the presidential candidate is none other than His Adequateness Musalia Mudavadi.
We are going to demystify the issue and the narrative of a two-horse race. That is a false narrative that cannot sell to Kenyans.
Musalia Mudavadi's core principles have already been endorsed by their respective parties to seek OCA's nomination. Musalia has promised to shake Kenya's political landscape with his big announcement, though none of his core principles nor any other presidential hopeful has been invited to share in the moment at the Bomas of Kenya.
Tomorrow, tunatarajia kutakuwa na earthquake hapa. Kutakuwa na earthquake? Yes. Kutakuwa na earthquake?
Yes. We have not invited any of our competitors because we are alive of the fact that we are going into a battle, and that battle requires us to prepare enough to handle our opponents.
6,000 delegates are expected to attend the Bomas conference.
Musalia ndio mtu ambaye anaaminika ndani ya hii Kenya, na anawaambia wa Kenya waendelee kufanya nini? Kuchagua Musalia.
But even as Musalia prepared a big day, Lugari Member of Parliament Ayub Savula, a long-time ally of the ANC leader, has ditched the camp and joined the newly formed Democratic Alliance Party of Kenya.
We are pleased to receive into DAP today Honorable Ayub Savula, member for Lugari and former deputy party leader of the ANC.
And I've joined DAP in the same capacity as the deputy party leader.
And I'm here to just witness and to tell my brother, welcome, thank you, na hongera for providing leadership.
DAP rally its support behind the Azimio la Umoja movement. With the stage set for Musalia Mudavadi's big day tomorrow, the party says that the National Delegates Conference is going to be one of a kind that will pave way for the party's formidable campaigns across the country. Kamche Menza for the Legends edition at the Bomas of Kenya.
Deputy President William Ruto has appealed to former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka to consider joining hands with the Hustler movement. Speaking in Makueni County on Saturday, Ruto said the Hustler movement has a people-centered development agenda that will address the various challenges facing Kenyans.
William Ruto took his campaigns to Makueni County. Ruto urged the Akamba community to encourage Kalonzo Musyoka to join the winning team.
Sasa mimi nauliza nyinyi, si hata huyo ndugu yangu Kalonzo, kwa sababu yeye naamini Mungu kama vile mimi naamini Mungu, si tushikane ndio tutengeneze hiyo serikali nyingine ya mwaka ujao? Ama mnasemaje? Ama mnataka aendelee na kitendawili?
Ruto urged Kalonzo and his supporters not to fall prey to those banking on tribal political parties whose only aim is to divide the country in pursuit of partisan political agenda.
Na wauliza kwa unyenyekevu, msikubali tugawanywe ati chama ya kona na kabila na kijiji. Tunataka tuungane kwa chama ya kitaifa ambayo iko na uwezo ya kuunda serikali, ambayo iko na uwezo ya kushughulikia changamoto zetu zote, ndio tuweze kuwa na Kenya ya usawa, ambayo ni Kenya ambayo kila mtu atajivunia kuwa Mkenya.
The Deputy President said UDA has a national outlook with the objective of uniting Kenyans to confront the country's challenges.
Hapa watu wamesema yes na bottom up, yes na Hustler movement, yes na serikali yako na serikali yenye itatupeleka mbele.
Katiba ya Kenya kila mwaka baada ya miaka 5 inapatia kila Mkenya nafasi ya kuchagua kiongozi wao. Kweli au si kweli?
Kuna mtu atatisha Ruto Ukambani na hakuna mtu atatisha Ruto Kenya. Jamii zote Kenya zimeungana na kusema tutasafiri na Mheshimiwa Ruto mpaka mwisho.
The Deputy President has been on a relentless campaign, making 2 trips to the Ukambani region this week.
Azimio la Umoja presidential hopeful Raila Odinga has reiterated his commitment to eradicate corruption in government. Addressing rallies in Narok County, Raila promised to seal loopholes that breed graft and impoverish Kenyans. Ma leaders accompanying Raila vowed to mobilize their electorate toward Raila's presidential bid.
The Azimio la Umoja movement led by Raila Odinga took its campaigns to Narok County, holding public rallies at Ololunga and Awasongiro.
Rais wa 5 wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, Raila.
The Mau Forest restoration politics taking the center stage.
In whose hands is this country safe? In whose hands is the Maa nation safe?
Kuna watu wanasema watu watarudi kwa Mau. Na waambieni nikiwa governor, you'll get Mau over my dead body. You'll never get it again.
Raila making a host of pledges if elected to succeed President Uhuru in the August polls.
Kuna kitu inaitwa social protection program. Sasa tumesema tutaleta hiyo hapa Kenya hii. Kila jamii ambaye hakuna mtu ambaye ana mapato watapata kila mwezi kutoka kwa serikali shilingi 6,000.
Ma leaders accompanying Raila rallied their people behind his presidential bid while hitting out at Deputy President William Ruto's bottom-up economic model.
Sisi tukiwa kwa mlima kule juu tumepiga darubini namna hii, tukaangalia wale wote wanasimama. Yule ambaye tumeona amefikisha kilo ya kuwa rais wa 5 wa nchi hii yetu ni Raila Amolo Odinga. Siasa ya Narok County lazima ipangwe ndani ya Narok County, au sivyo? Mnakubali hiyo?
Raila's bid also received a major boost after he received a host of defectors to Azimio la Umoja movement, among them lawyer Martin Kamwaro, who was the Wiper Party National Vice Chairperson, and Narok Assembly Speaker Nkoidila Olelankas, who defected from Jubilee Party. Gishoke Washira, Legends Edition.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission says it is ready to conduct the August 9th general election, though under a tight budget. IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati has, however, told Kenyans that for now they should register as voters in readiness for the August contest.
It is all system go for the August 9th general election, according to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission chairperson Wafula Chebukati.
Upande wetu as a commission tuko tayari kuandalia Wakenya kura. Tumepewa budget, ingawa haitoshi, lakini we shall operate within the budget which we have. So kazi ni kwa wananchi kujiandikisha. Sisi tumeandaa uwanja iko tayari kwa wale aspirants na pia voters to choose the leaders of their choice.
Chebukati was in Vihiga County Saturday, where he also urged all eligible Kenyans to register as voters before the February deadline.
My appeal is to the youth of Vihiga and the rest of the country. Please turn out. This is your last chance to register so that you can participate in the upcoming elections scheduled for the 9th of August this year.
He said most IEBC clerks remain idle due to low turnout at the registration centers.
We gazetted the election date, we have gazetted the timelines, and time is moving. And if you don't take this opportunity to register on or before 6th of February, you'll be left out to elect leaders of your choice.
IEBC has been running an online campaign targeting the youth to persuade them to register as voters. Calls by IEBC have been echoed by politicians across the country.
I'm telling people, kama unataka kuja kuongea na mimi, nataka uwe ni mtu unaweza niandika kazi. Na kama huwezi kuniandika kazi, huna kipande, huna voters card, huwezi niandika. So tukikaa na wewe tunapoteza wakati.
The enhanced continuous voter registration will go on until February 6th, 2022 in readiness for the August 9th general election. Purity Museo, The Legends Edition.
And now we'll take a quick break and we'll be back in a short while. Stay with us.
What does 36 hours mean to you? With the construction of a new railway line linking the standard gauge railway to the meter gauge railway at the Naivasha Inland Container Depot, 36 hours now means the total transit time for transportation of cargo between the port of Mombasa and Malaba through rail. This is a game changer for transporters and importers, as they shall enjoy faster transit times at affordable rates from $860 for a 20-feet container. More benefits from the seamless railway line include reliable, regular and speedy delivery of cargo, safety and security of cargo through real-time cargo tracking, terminal incentives at the Naivasha ICD. With railway transport aiming to boost movement of goods in the East African region, improving hinterland connectivity and spurring regional economic growth, it is safe to say we are right on track.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya mtu ni watu, bonyeza star 811 star 961 hash.
Mungu akitaka kukubariki atatumia watu. Maombi yako akitaka kuyajibu atatumia mtu. Hauwezi ukakaa maisha ya kujitenga. Hapana, sababu unahitaji watu. Angalia, toka nje, wacha kukaa peke yako. Toka, kutana na watu. Jumuika na watu, penda watu, furahia watu, zungumza na watu. Baraka.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya mtu ni watu, bonyeza star 811 star 961 hash. Star 811 star 961 hash.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Welcome back. Families of the victims of the Yala dump bodies incident are pleading with the government to investigate the motive behind the brutal murder of their loved ones. Most of the bodies recovered from River Yala, which flows into Lake Victoria, were found stashed in sacks, some with limbs tied up and others with deep body cuts, signifying that the victims were tortured before they were disposed into the river.
It's a community in mourning. It's been a beehive of activities at the Yala Sub-County Hospital mortuary in Siaya County in the past few days, as families identify the bodies of their loved ones, relatives and friends of those who died mysteriously, and their bodies dumped into River Yala are yet to wake up to what they hoped was just a dream.
Nilichukua hiyo bahasha, wakanipa, nikasoma, nikapata. Maandishi yenyewe inaonyesha tu ni mtu mwenye hajasoma vile. Ameandika tu ni kama mtoto wa lower primary. Kaangalia ameandika kwamba Songi na Suti wamekufa na wako Yala mortuary. Come and pick them tomorrow.
Tukafika tukapika report, tukapata, wakatuambia tuliokota watu karibu Luanda hapo, mmoja juu mwingine chini. Lakini wako mortuary. Na hapo mortuary tuko na mili nyingi sana yenye tumepata kwa maji. Iko mili nyingi. Tukasema sisi kitu nataka ni kutambua wetu.
In pain and sorrow, they have accepted the fate of their loved ones, but are demanding investigations to ascertain the identities of the body and know who is behind the killings. In yet another mysterious murder incident, a family in Kakamega County is in mourning after they received reports that the body of their son was dumped in Yala Sub-County mortuary.
Alikuanga tu ile mtu, yani tu mtu active tu, yani, but mimi kuona ati akifanya vitu za machachari ama ati anatukana niacha kwa nyumba, kusema kweli siwezi mdanganishia juu amekufa. Mimi nimekwanga nikikaa na yeye, anaenda hiyo boda yake asubuhi, anarudi kama amechelewa kwa nyumba sana 7:30. Mimi kweli nasema serikali ikuwe macho, itusaidie juu sisi tukua tunajua na hata kama kweli Kevo angeuawa.
At least 20 bodies have been retrieved from a river in western Kenya in recent weeks. Purity Museo, The Legends Edition.
Isaac Kalua, the founder of Green Africa Foundation, says he's petitioning members of Parliament to withdraw the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill 2021. Kalua argues that the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill 2021 does not protect the citizenry against the adverse effects of climate change. He says the proposed amendment is in bad taste as it threatens to expose public forests to arbitrary boundary changes and excisions that would adversely affect water catchment areas, among others. Right, Toby is all set with the latest in sports. Toby, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been a while, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a while, but with the new year. Yeah, we've got a great guest tonight?
Yes, former provincial commissioner.
Yes.
Bwana Kaguthi. A very interesting guest.
Yeah, he is. He was also the initiator of the Nyumba Kumi initiative.
Yes, the man behind it, which has been pretty successful.
Yeah.
He also founded NACADA, the fight against drugs. He was the founder of that. And he's done a great job. He's had a prolific career. And it was interesting, very interesting speaking.
Yeah, he's a great administrator. I mean, and one of the veteran administrators.
Yes, great administrator, provincial commissioner, and also a permanent secretary.
Yeah, and I believe that, he can still offer a lot of sound advice to young people today.
100%.
Yeah, it's great, yeah.
Right, we'll take a short break, and Topi will join you with the latest in sports in a short while. Stay with us.
Beacon Furnitures Limited. We're local manufacturers of quality office furniture, dealers in quality office equipment like fireproof safes and cabinets. Our automated state-of-the-art factories at Henna House along Enterprise Road in Nairobi's industrial area. Our showroom is at Uniafric House, Koinange Lane off Koinange Street. We are passionate believers in locally manufactured goods. When you and I buy locally made furniture, we impact on the livelihoods of our brothers and sisters. For orders, visit our showroom at Uniafric House, Koinange Lane off Koinange Street. Beacon Furnitures Limited. Jenga Kenya, tupate ajira.
Yeah, once again, it's a very good evening and welcome to the Sports Roundup on the Legends edition this Saturday evening. We have quite a number of highlighted stories coming up for you. Shujaa beating France, coming from behind to beat France. And then, of course, on the local scene, cross country, which Kenya is renowned for the running. Now they're doing their trials for the World Championship. So, welcome, and we start with a story on cross country. Samuel Chebolei and Joyce Chepkemoi are the new senior cross-country champions. The two were crowned during the AK National Cross-Country Championships held at the Lobo village in Uasin Gishu County. Let's have a look.
Where is your team? On a course designed for the tactical athlete, Samuel Chebolei beat a field of 117 other athletes to take the senior men's national cross-country championship after running the 10-kilometer event in a time of 29 minutes 28.9 seconds. Kaptagat-based Kennedy Kiprop took second place with Vincent Kiprotich third. The senior women's 10-kilometer race was won by Joyce Chepkemoi of the Kenya Defence Forces in 34 minutes flat. Margaret Chelimo of Police and Self-Interest Paul of Prisons took second and third respectively.
Kikosi ilikuwa tough sana. Penye ilikuwa tough ilikuwa ni matope. Hapo ndio ulikuwa unasikia uchungu kabisa.
The under-20 men's 8-kilometer race was won by Benson Kiplagat in 24 minutes 8 seconds, with Samuel Kibadi second and Reynold Kipkorir third.
Nasikia poa. Nilikuwa nimejiandaa Kerenge. Tulikuwa tumejiandaa, coach alikuwa ameniambia hebu enda try usikie mwili vile iko, tukuje tuangalie vile tutafanya.
The under-20 women's 6-kilometer race was won by Faith Cherotich in 20 minutes 28.4 seconds. Purity Chepkirui and Grace Loibach took the rest of the podium places.
Mbio ya leo imekuwa ngumu kiasi. Hata hivyo nilikuwa nimejipanga vyema nikijua itakuwa rahisi. Kwa sasa matarajio yangu ni kwenda kuketi na kupanga kwa ajili ya watu kustua na maandalizi yenyewe itakuwa rahisi.
The under-18 6-kilometer boys race was won by Charles Rotich, while Pamela Kosgei, the younger sister to world record holder in the women's marathon Bridget Jap Kosgei, took the under-18 girls 5-kilometer race.
Na feel poa, nakosa hiku kwa mbaya vile. Ilikuwa tu challenges kidogo but si sana.
a 5-meter mud pit that turned out to be the undoing of most athletes, and 3 undulating hills that have been set on this generally flat and fast course at the Lobo village in Uasin Gishu County. 3 weeks from now, top athletes in the world will converge at this same venue for the Agnes Tirop Cross Country Classic, amongst them Jeffrey Kamoror and Letesinbet Gide. Reporting for the Legends edition from Kapseret in Uasin Gishu County, I am Daniel Wahome.
The Kenya national rugby sevens team, Shujaa, came from 3 tries down to beat France 26-15 in the final Pool D match of the HSBC Sevens World Series going on in Malaga, Spain. Aaron Grandidier and Joachim Trobal scored for France, while Kenya bounced back to victory through tries from Vincent Onyala, Nelson Oyo and Derek Ashehundu. Some of the action.
I think it's a little glimpse of what they can do. Remember, it's A that crosses over with D and B with C in World Series Rugby Sevens in the men's competition. But a lovely ball floated over the top, and Kenya have another try. It's the captain, Nelson Oyu, who has scored. Kenya right back in this. Tabu on the wraparound. Jeffrey Olawach, power, just leaves one French defender behind. Here's OU again, got them in this position, they're going to get another score. Oh, how's an impact from the air.
The Kenya Basketball Federation League 2021 playoffs commences on Saturday morning as KPA women claimed a 67-27 win against Strathmore Ladies. KPA won 18-2 in the first quarter before winning 13-9 in the second. The team continued its brilliance and won 18-8 and 18-8 in the third and fourth quarters respectively. In other results, Storms claimed a 47-31 win against University of Nairobi Ladies Dynamites. In the men's playoffs, Moi Airbase beat Mustangs 74-62. Moki prepared this story for us. "19 swimming clubs and schools turned up for the Kiambu County Swimming Championships that was held on Saturday morning at the Regis School. Neo Olengo, who won the 200-meter freestyle for boys under the age of 10, said he now sets focus to the national championships that will be used to select a team squad that will feature in the Dubai Swimming Gala. Mwoki again with the details.
The activities of so many.
Lengo showed a stellar performance and emerged victorious, clocking 2 minutes 59.58 seconds, followed by Rock Kafuto in 3 minutes 13.92 seconds. Ryan Odhiambo clocked 4 minutes 38.60 seconds to settle for the third position.
This season my target is to be known by a lot of people and to focus on my education and swimming.
I think it's not that tough for me today. Usually it's very tough, but I'm feeling easygoing, but I'm also reducing my times. But I'm not reaching like the times that I wanted to achieve, but I think I'm still doing well.
Brent Mwangi booked a slot to the national championship after time in 1 minute 41.98 seconds in the 100 meters, followed by Larry Moturi and Elijah Kalinga in the second and third positions respectively.
Me, my strokes, I've currently done just one stroke and I came out position 2 because I was racing against a 25-year-old, so you can imagine. Yeah, but all in all, I hope this prepares me to one day represent Kenya in East Africa.
It's more of a development of Ghana in the sense that we want, and also for selecting people who will go for other competitions way ahead of this.
In the girls category, Zoya Nurani finished first in the 25 meters backstroke, timing 24.92 seconds. She was followed by Melissa Alala in 27.63 seconds, while Wanjugu Abigail finished third in 30.76 seconds. Frederick Moki for Legends edition.
The Kenya Golf Union KGU, Junior Golf Foundation JGF, and the National Caddies Association NCA have partnered with Safaricom and launched a golf tour that will feature different events across the country geared towards scouting for and nurturing golfing talent. The 14-leg amateur series will culminate with the grand finale at the Vipingo Ridge Golf Resort in August, where winners from each event will converge to determine the overall champions. Here is a take.
The golf tour will begin on 29th of this month at Nanyuki Sports Club before moving to Limuru on 26th of next month. The series will include junior competitions, youth clinics, and golf outreach programs. These will be run in partnership with the Junior Golf Foundation and Kenya Golf Union.
For golf, you have unwavering support from the Ministry of Sports and from our State Department. For this reason, the government is committed in developing training and competition facilities for golf and other sports. I would like to challenge Safaricom if we could work together and develop the models that you're seeing in the golf club here, which allows any Kenyan to be able to walk in and play in this game. Would be very, very more than willing to partner in developing those golf facilities around the country with yourselves.
The tour will also feature a Caddies tournament in partnership with the Kenya National Caddies Association. Golf clinics targeting students between the ages of 6 to 18 years old from schools around the golf clubs will be marked for the tour.
Just in the same way that we have athletes, young golfers dreaming to participate and win in the Kenya Open, now that we've started to host or have been hosting European standard and European tour competitions in this country. There's no reason why we should be hosting competitions like those in this country, and our junior golfers don't feel that they could dream to be part of those events.
The tour will see an average of about 30 juniors trained at the club for 8 months. Frederick Moki for Legends edition.
Kenya Breweries Limited has committed sponsorship of 2.5 million shillings towards the currently ongoing Safari Tour Golf Series. The sponsorship is set to go towards the organization of the final 3 Safari Tour events to be held in Limuru, Muthaiga, and Karen golf clubs. The top 8 Kenyans in the final road to Kenya Open 2022 rankings and the top 3 foreign players will qualify to participate in the European Tour sanctioned Magical Kenya Open 2022. Here's a report.
Delighted that we continue to partner with a credible organization like the Kenya Open Golf Limited, who also host the Kenya Open, the premier event here in Kenya and probably in East Africa. And so this is just part of our bigger picture in terms of sponsoring golf, and we look forward to partnering even further as we get to the Kenya Open season in a few weeks or months' time.
This will no doubt go a long way in not only ensuring the success of the events, but also boosting the players' morale as we head to the Kenya Open. It is our hope that we will go a long way in encouraging them to challenge for the win.
And that's all we had for you on the sports edition this Saturday evening. We hope that you join us again next week for another great rendezvous on the sporting scene. Now, Shuja, rugby
beating France. I thought that was commendable.
Yeah, it's very commendable considering that they had a bad start yesterday when they were beaten by Holland.
Yeah, but I think they should progress well in the tournament because this is going to be very inspirational for the whole team.
Oh, it is, because like France were ahead and then they came up actually with 3 tries. And normally, like the rugby sevens, the tournament, the time is so short. So to be able to clock 3 tries towards the end is
when it comes to rugby, France is big.
Yeah,
beating them.
Yeah, France is big. Yeah, France is one of the biggest. I mean,
kudos to our Kenyans.
Yeah, kudos, and we hope that they have a great time, and that they go on to win this tournament or this series. That would be very nice. And from me to Opila, of course, that's a wind up for tonight, and we hope that you join me again next weekend for another edition of the Sports Roundup. I'm glad you're watching.
Thank you very much, Topi. Right, we go straight to the interview with the former Provincial Commissioner, Joseph Kaguthi. Stay with us. I'm Fayaz Qureshi. Our guest on the Living Legends tonight has been associated with the Community Participation on Security, better known as Nyumba Kumi. He was in the initial task force against drug and substance abuse, was the permanent secretary whose decision to enhance professionalism had been pushed to the limits that did not augur well. We speak to former Provincial Commissioner Joseph Kaguthi. Bwana Kaguthi.
Yes.
It's an extreme pleasure.
Thank you, and welcome back to the country.
Looking forward to this interview.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So, of course, we'll start off. Kindly tell us about your early life and education.
I am simply a son of a squatter during the colonial time in the then Naivasha district. And that's why I started during the time of emergency. The movement of my community through transit camps to Langata, we are sorted out. Then we head up back to Kinangop. And that's why I started school after working for 3 years at a colonial settler that time. And then they've started off the intermediate school. That time we did not have a single intermediate school in 59 in the whole county of Nyandarua. Intermediate school is started at 5 because the policies that time is that you reach started at 4, all of you go, get married, and you provide labor for them. So we did not have a single secondary school in that county called Nyandarua. Year 63, 64, we started in 65. That's where we went to open Nyandarua High School as a Form 1. Finished high school there.
Wow.
Then went kidogo to train as a teacher. I did not finish. Came to the university. I saw a revolution where the sheep, they are bought by SFT, Settlement Fund Trustee. The shambas that they were giving us only half an acre per family. They are chopped now, 7 acres, 10 acres. And they are given to Africans. Is a revolution. Then farmers training schools were established to teach farmers how to now farm. And you don't. I wish people knew. Kisi Abagusi were given Borabu district. Kakamega they were given Rugali. Bukusus they were given Togaren. Kikuyus were given Nyandarua. You see that. And you come to others like the Akamba, the Musagareni big scheme, Coast, Magarini.
Very interesting. No, it's so interesting. What you've just said is so interesting. Yeah. And it's so important to let people know about that.
It is there. So I left after a little training in Kamweja, came to the university, joined teaching very, very briefly. Then I was recruited as a DO. My life now in service arts.
So anyway, so you joined the public service as an administrator?
As a DO, yes.
Yes. What are the selection and training processes for district officers at that point in time?
We had come from a period of very heavy Kenyanization and Africanization, where the recruitment of public service, Mwafrika, was they were recruiting from the university. But that time, we started having enough content, enough of us. So they will now start advertising, and then we applied. I had not studied to be a DO. In fact, the chairman, the late William Wamalwa, asked me, Kaguthi, you don't appear as if you are preparing yourself to be a DO. Then I asked him in the interview, Chairman, how did you discover that? Everybody laughed. But before they finished, I told them, but I will make a good administrator. I think that conviction, they recruited me. So early 70s, that is. And that's how I started, worked in the induction.
And thereafter followed a beautiful, prolific career.
Yeah, because the preparation for that cadre was very good. You can imagine the induction was by the head of public service, Mr. G.K. Karevi, coming to tell us, you, Dios, once Mzee Jomo Kenyatta knows that he has a good DO serving his people, coordinating all the heads of department well to serve his people, he will sleep well. How do you think I was feeling when coming out of that induction? The Secretary of Exchequer, the PS Treasury, he's still there, Nicholas Nganga. He comes to tell us, you are now going to, we are having a little hiccup financially because it's the first oil shock. But don't mind, bother to look at the value for the shilling. If you are buying whatever you are buying, look at the value, compare the services that you get out of that shilling that we have. And that induction give me a kickoff of quite a lot of love for the service. And that's how we were kicked off that time.
Fantastic. Professional, strict, discipline, high standards.
Yes. I can tell you that is true. Take decision. The worst person in administration is the one who is indecisive. Take decision. If there is a problem, we will correct it along the way.
That satisfaction,
no,
feel-good factor.
It is good, even those memories that you served well. So from there, served Western, came to Nairobi as a D1 Nairobi, to 80, went to Office of the President all the way to 91, 92, 92, 93. That is 13 years in Office of the President.
You worked very closely with the late President Daniel Arap Moi.
It's true. I worked very closely with Mzee Moi. When I was appointed in 1993, 10 days after the multi-party government was formed, I wrote back to him that I thank you, and my assignment is that I endear the people of Nyanza to you and your government through good services. And God willing, and with your guidance, we should be able to succeed. You can see the thinking that I had. And I had also to give even direction to the heads of departments so that they also get where I am. Because I was out of the field administration for a long time, from 1980. Now this is 93. And I remember after I took over from Mr. Kelu, and I knew that I had written to the president like that. So I just told the heads of department, I have two weaknesses, which we've got to go with. One, when I am reminded, the office is reminded on anything that we ought to do, is embarrassment to me, and it cannot be dealt by anybody else apart from me. Any letter of reminder must come to me as provincial committee, not my officers. But I have a second weakness. When I'm reminding somebody on what you ought to do and they have not done it, I get irritated. So we are very clear, isn't it? The other one is we are in the area of opposition. They have to get their own space. If they blame you and your department on anything substantive, we are running a political government. I'll go to where they are and start also blaming you. But wait until the end, I'll come out with you because I'm part of you. So Mzee Moi gives you a province to run, but you run with him. You get the import of that. So you got to consult him closely. If we took long and something did happen, avoid, that's what we avoided. Avoid surprising the president. Avoid. Brief him. It is the province. He's the one who was elected, not me. I'm only Have you? That's why I was there.
Working under him very closely and for a long period of time.
Yes, nearly
What's
5
your
years.
assessment of him as a leader of this country?
I think Mzee Moi's strength lay in his apparent weakness. Unamdharau. That apparent weakness, but the minute you see his strength.
So his strength was in his weakness?
No, in his apparent.
In his apparent weakness?
Yes.
Okay.
Moi hana shida na mtu. When he's campaigning, watoto enda ambieni wazazi wako, mama na baba, Moi ni mtu mzuri, wanichague. You see that? and even in his, but extremely generous and very understanding. He will regard us almost like his kids. Every time he came, I made sure that the provincial heads of departments, including the DCs, they meet him. A very rare thing. It doesn't happen.
So your rise to public prominence came in 1993, actually, when you were the Nyanza Provincial Commissioner, right? What were the challenges in an area that had picked an opposition stance against the government? How difficult was it?
It depends on the attitude you adopt. Look at my attitude. To come and dear the people to the president, any government, through good service, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So it was one of the easiest. Sometimes it would be the what do you call oscillation, very, very sharp. Just take it easy. Just take it easy. And but where it was very difficult, what did we do? We called the clergy. Join also in the softening.
You retired after serving as Permanent Secretary, Directorate of Personnel Management, right? Now, this was at the time that the late Dr. Richard Leakey was heading the civil service. Now, how did you oversee the public service at a time the IMF and the World Bank were calling for reforms in the government?
You know, Qureshi, it is not as simple as it is being put in the public limelight. So what I'm saying is this: we ignored the permanent government called civil service, and it was taken over by the political or temporary government every 5 years contract. So we lose now the administrative culture of the public sector. I don't know whether I'm able to explain this. So where we used to train the middle cadre and the junior staff and so forth, we replace them with the universities. And you know, universities are expansionists by nature. So we have that problem even now. The training on administrative culture, quote unquote attitudes, tuko na shida. So we have that problem even now. So that's from the way I see it.
Going to that now. The National Agency for Campaign Against Drug Abuse, NACADA. You led it for quite some time.
Not I led it.
Oh, you still lead it?
I founded it.
Oh, you founded it. And what did you find out about substance abuse in Kenya and best ways to fight it? And that's quite honorable. You actually founded it. I wasn't aware of that.
Yes, I was just called that there's a threat, and the president just told me that he's disturbed because the youth are in and they are therefore going to undermine the foundation of the country. So go start the campaign in schools, other learning institutions, and on the street. I didn't have any more information, so I decided to ask everybody who is telling me is a very big threat, because I don't know it. When I went to the head of public, she told me she didn't know. I went to the president, second floor, because I had retired. And he did not even allow me to thank him. He said, we know you more than you think. After 1 year in the outside. So what do? Then I listen to you. You are telling me it's a very delicate problem. So I asked you a question. give me a small note with 3 things. What is the scope of this problem in your view? If you don't take any action, what is the long-term ramifications of this country? And in your view as a professional, what must we do? That formed the training program for any officer that I brought in.
When you started this agency, what did you realize? How big was this problem?
No, it was big.
It was massive.
And not only that, drugs, they intimidate. They kill. Those ones, they do all, they corrupt.
In fact, I was quite surprised to listen to a statistic. Even when you go to rehab, your chances of getting back to normal were about 8 to 9%.
No, it is nasty. It's nasty. We introduced a law, and I think it was drafted by students, Christian students, post university, edited by the late by Professor J.B. Ojwang. That's why we have the act called NACADA. Then the same one with the tobacco. The NACADA law, you are comparing it the way I left it. We wanted 75% of the time they go to prevention. Do not do supply reduction. That is the law enforcement.
Better than cure. Now I want to come to a very important.
I wish you allowed me to say something kidogo too on that law, because I feel rather sad that there are 2 critical things that we put in that law. One, the chairman must always be appointed by the president and approved by parliament, so the parliament can check whether he can promote, because drugs can bribe. They corrupt. So that is one thing I doubt whether we are doing it. Number 2, every 6 months, the law demands that the authority which was created by that law, they must report to the National Assembly and Senate every 6 months, June and December, what the other government departments are doing to fight that issue. Parliament has let us down. Number 2, media has let us down. Nobody picks it, analyzes it, and say, how do we solve the situation?
I need to speak to you about the Nyumba Kumi initiative. This is one that calls on the public to become a collective unit for ensuring security at local level, right? Now, tell us about a very extensive question I have, because this is very close to your heart, I believe. How was the concept created? How is it coordinated? What have been the good and bad public responses to the Nyumba Kumi initiative? How do you deal with the challenge of persons who invoke their right to privacy? And how do you reach out to the young urban population, very important, that has their own perception of who to associate with? So it's a very extensive question. So it's very, very close to you. If you can do it in the next 5-6 minutes, because we're running out of time. Because I've got a last question after this.
That should have been President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's legacy. How he put it on the first Mashujaa Day. Security is a joint mandate of every person in Kenya. He did not even say citizen. Joint mandate. 2, the first test of whether they have taken that mandate well is their vigilance. And 3, form those Nyumba Kumi, know your neighbor, know what they are doing. So 4 days later, I was
to be aware of what's happening.
Yes. 4 days later, I'm called and I'm asked by the minister now, would you like to help the country in mobilize towards what the president has just said? I was never taught to say no to our president, which is true. Even the one who will come in August, they think that I have a bit of energy. I cannot say no to my president. It is not possible, because that is like saying no to the whole of the Kenyan population, isn't it? So we now started. Now, What is it? We now get hooked. That is community policy. No. We started killing the elders in Kwale, in Old Town. Tukasema, no, you don't do like that. Let it be a committee formed with everybody. A committee where there is the youth, there is the women, there is this, there is this. And let it be autonomous. And they are leading, they address their problems there. They don't answer to anybody.
But you know, like I mentioned, how do you force a person who wants to invoke his right to privacy?
Let me come to you.
Okay. And of course, urban population especially.
You are 69 of you.
Who have their own perception who they want to associate with. How do you force them? And they'll tell you, look, I'd like to be private. You're invoking my privacy. But I understand your perspective.
You know, like we are here 69, where we are. We are 69 households. If you don't want to join that committee, car. But what you do, the more you put those walls, like the prisoners in Karen and other places, the more you endanger yourself.
Majority play ball.
Yes, not only that. The minute you become a virtual prisoner of your own, the people who are your enemies, they study your movement and so forth. And because the other people are not with you.
How successful has this been?
Extremely successful.
Extremely.
I can tell you. And you allow me to... you get like Lamu. You remember the Lamu where they killed people? Mm-hmm. Had Nyumba Kumi said it? The answer is yes. Even the police officers knew. Even this one of Westgate. It was there, reported.
You mean to tell me they knew of Westgate? There was information?
Mwananchi had already reported. We have it. This one of Kawangware, year 2017, the burning. We knew it 2 weeks before. Nyumba Kumi just reported. And the reporting, they said it.
But what's the use if no action was taken?
In my presence. They told the DCC in my presence.
It's been fantastic. I wish we had a couple of more hours. We could talk for hours and hours. As we head into the electioneering period, what would be your advice to administrators and, of course, persons who will be seeking political office? Your views should be very interesting on this one, on these ones rather.
Every citizen should know that the elections is a passing cloud. The time I first participated in 1961, the same cheating of our politicians, that was by the late Kavidesh Bentik, how he cheated. He was an MP in Naivasha. He was writing 1961, na anageuza namna hiyo, meaning ataenda kupeana kule. The one I participated directly 69. And the politician is a passing cloud. It will have to come and go. Don't take it to the heart. Leave it to the lungs. Enjoy. Be watchful. Using Nyumba Kumi adequately. If you find that they are meeting and they are not meeting for a good cause, remember it is a selfish thing. It's a passing cloud. It's very important. 988. You keep on reporting. I am not a politician. I'm not going to join any politics, but I like telling people report. If the youth are overexcited, if you are an elder, please take a bit of time and cool it down. If you are an administrator, the rule, you remember, 6 months before the elections, you move away from your friends who are candidates. You move away from the campaign. If you do not move away from the campaign, they will convert you to be the election issue. They will say, "Huyu chief must go. Unichague huyu chief tutatoa." Then they look at anything that they can dump on that chief. You become the election issue. So we normally advise move away during that time. Allow them the field to do the campaign, but it is a passing cloud. It is a one-day affair. 1 week affair. It will go. The country will simply remain where we are.
Thank you very much, Joseph Kaguthi. You've had such an amazing, prolific career, and it's been such an honor to speak to a living legend. Thank you for being our guest.
I thank you and welcome back to Kenya. Kenyans, let's have a good election. And somebody must win, somebody must lose. And when you lose, laugh it out.
That's the reality.
When you win, please embrace everybody else. And we get the country going.
That's a good parting shot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you heard it all. Regularize how public spending is done, have a holistic approach to drug and substance abuse, and service to the public is the first duty of any public servant at all levels of government. It has been a pleasure speaking to our living legend tonight, former Provincial Commissioner Joseph Kaguthi. My name is Fayaz Qureshi. Thank you for joining us. A very distinguished and a humble person. It was great speaking to former Provincial Commissioner Joseph Kaguthi. And that's all from our newsroom. Join us next week at 9 p.m. for the Legends edition only on KBC Channel 1. Our sign language interpreter for tonight's edition was Byron Abuli. I am Fayaz Qureshi. Have a good night.
Taking Isaac to Moriah, we'll sacrifice to the Lord.
Father, why do we sacrifice?
We sacrifice out of obedience. It's how we worship.
My God! Have mercy, oh God!
Where is the lamb for the burnt offering?
The Lord will provide himself a lamb.
Tusirudi nyuma kwa mipaka na nchi kufungwa. Tusirudi kwa biashara na shule kufungwa. Kwa kutoweza kukutana, kwa kutengana na tuwapendao, tusirudi nyuma.
Na kuhitaji unikinge, pata chanjo.
Ili tuendelee na maisha vizuri.
Na kuhitaji unikinge, pata chanjo.
Na kuhitaji unikinge,
pata chanjo.
Na kuhitaji unikinge,
pata chanjo.